Hi, good morning. So today I am sixth day post-op, and the subcutaneous emphysema hasn't dissolved yet, so there is still soreness, sponginess, although it's better to what it was. Yesterday, I ventured out of the house for the first time, so it was a short ride out and came back, and done more exercises than I had before, and I'm feeling okay. There is a bit soreness today, but I guess all of that is a part of, not I guess, I know all of that is a part of a healing process. Now, see, I'm not 7 days, I'm not 1 week yet, and I haven't started going stuck crazy in the house, but today I'm planning on popping in at my clinic. I've been really missing seeing everybody, so I will again just do a step out of the house and do a short trip, just be maybe half an hour there, because again, I want to start reintroducing things and kind of coming back into their life, but at the same time I have to balance of not overstraining myself. I think that is kind of a main kind of the name of the game, to be patient and to allow the process to take place. See, the hysterectomy, whether laparoscopic or abdominal, and in my case, they remove a cervix and the tubes. They left ovaries, which means that I will not be thrown into a menopause yet. But still, it's a major abdominal surgery, and that is something that one has to keep in mind, that the recovery from between the laparoscopic and the abdominal or open cut surgery is around 2 weeks of a difference. So laparoscopic recovery is 2 weeks quicker than the abdominal, but nevertheless, it is still a major abdominal surgery. So it takes time for the body to heal, for the wounds to heal, for the body to get used to the new way, because of the trauma, because every surgery is a certain trauma to the body, so need to re-strengthen the muscles, to whatever scar tissue is there, to work through that. And we are talking about the full recovery between 4 to 8 weeks. First week is crucial, and the first week is the one when there are the most restrictions. Big no-nos are no bending forward, so that's number one. Absolutely no bending forward. If you have to pick up something from the ground, you have to go down through your legs. Number two is no picking up anything heavy. I mean, you can pick up your handbag, unless it's my handbag, which is heavy as it is. So for me, no picking up a handbag either. So nothing heavy, definitely for 3 weeks. So that is number two. And number three is no straining, no direct pressure on the abdominal region. So no planking, push-ups, deep squatting, heavy squatting. So all of that is off the table. And one has to be really particular and very careful about it, because again, not worth it. Because the consequences, if you're not taking your recovery and the post-op period seriously, can be urinary and bladder incontinence, can be bleeding earlier on, it can be the prolapses. So because you're stressing too far and the tissues are wounded, you're not recovering them and you're not strengthening them appropriately. So the consequences in the long run are quite severe. And again, I'm repeating, hysterectomy is a major abdominal surgery. So one has to really, really be very careful how to approach and how to go about the entire recovery period. Now, emotionally or mentally, see, every surgery or every injury or anything in life that kind of sets you back, right? I mean, it creates imbalance in the body. It creates questions, whether questions of a fear or inconvenience to life, or how it is going to affect the way I'm doing, what the consequences of it are going to be. So that is one aspect. How is it going to affect my professional life? How is it going to affect my personal life? So all of that is it going to affect the sense of self? Because you see, uterus, cervix, tubes, ovaries, this is what is kind of we identify as women because of these organs, right? So it can affect the sense of self as a woman or as a potential mother, or not that for everyone. I personally have no issues with that. However, I can relate to it. Okay. And I think these are very important questions and very important discussions to have, because again, healing cannot take place unless we are at peace in the moment with whatever is happening around us. How can I facilitate healing if I'm struggling to accept what I'm going through? How can I open myself up to creating a balance if I am not accepting and surrendering myself to the situation I'm in? Okay, so, and I feel this is something very, very important to be mindful of. I knew I had the fibroids for a while, all right, and back then, 10 months ago, and they were nowhere near as large. 10 months ago, I met two doctors. First doctor, she was really good, very competent, amazing hospital, new facility. And her first choice was, we're going to remove everything. Plus, she was talking about removing ovaries as well. Let's be done. This is your age. You're in your 40s. You don't need this. You have a child. I was like, wait. I said, what you talking about? You're not taking anything out of me. I said, I'm just having a little heavier periods. I mean, what you're talking about? So it came as a big shock. She was like, yeah, let's just deal with everything and be done with it. And what she was saying, I mean, yes, I guess it made sense up to a point. I do not necessarily want to carry more children, but again, I want to be able to do so if I wish to, even though I don't. But we as humans, we do not like these choices made for us. We like choices that we are making, even though my choice is still the same as it would be, but mine would be a choice, and that would be a definite, right? Because with my choice, I could still change my mind. So, but anyways, I found that to be too radical, too extreme, too many things. Then I went to a second doctor, who is the doctor who eventually operated on me, Dr. Angela Aneja. And she kind of looked at me and she was like, yeah, your uterus is bulky. Are you having problems? And I was like, well, I'm managing. I mean, what is bothering me? I'm having heavier periods, and which I'm not used to, because never in my life I've been having such a heavy period. So and kind of they're longer now, because my entire life I had a very short periods, very irregular. So my periods would be like 3 to 4 days, extremely painful, and 3 to 4 days is with beginning and then like weaning out, right? So that was it. And they would be so I mean, I would go through my entire periods with like a 3 pads or a 1 pad a day. I mean, it's like ridiculous. And then all of a sudden, I'm having a period of 7 days, and they're so heavy that I have to kind of change 6 pads, 7 pads a day. So it's as an experience. I mean, I'm never in my entire adulthood I have dealt with that. So it was like, wow, this body of mine, I don't know. I have to kind of get to know this body. And so she was like, okay, if you don't have any other issues, here are tablets. Take these tablets during your period days. It's gonna control the amount of bleeding. This is Trenexa. And I was reading about it, and it's also given pre-op, post-op patients to minimize hemorrhaging, and it is given with people, even the teenagers, with the heavy bleedings. So it has been there. She said, take this during your period days. This is going to control the amount of bleeding. And if and when there is any major change in your body, come back and then we will see what we're going to do. So during that 10 months, I mean, it has been in my mind that eventually I will have to do something about it. So that way, when it came to the major, okay, maybe I have prolonged it a few months. I mean, I'm kind of stubborn like that. I have prolonged it because over progressively my periods have become heavier, and the tablets have been working. Till they haven't. Also, I would start taking tablets only after the bleeding would start, so I would not kind of try to preempt it, which again, in hindsight, has been a problem. But then on the other side, had I done it, I wouldn't have noticed this huge change. So when this last month I had the hemorrhaging, and my period wouldn't stop, and the tablets stopped responding, and my hemoglobin plummeted. When I went back to my doctor, she was like, yeah, this is a big change. Now it has to go. So mentally, I was sort of ready for it. However, I haven't expected that my tubes will go. I haven't expected that my cervix will go. But in the meantime, the fibroids have grown to such a huge size, a 5-month-old pregnancy, right? That they were indenting into the cervix as well. And the tubes, they have been removed preventively, because lots of cancers actually start from the tubes. And since we are already doing this surgery, it was. However, ovaries have been preserved, so I'm not going to get into the menopause. Now, why am I saying this? It depends on how do you wish to look at things. On one end, I could choose to say, oh my God, I made a mistake. I could have done this 10 months ago, and then it would have been a smaller surgery, and then it would have been right? Or I can say, you know what? I had 10 months to brace myself, so this didn't come as a surprise. And I had the time to process this information. All right? So this is how we can always approach everything. We can regret over a decision that is in the past and we can no longer change. Or I can say, you know what? That doctor, she was right. And yeah, maybe I would have not. However, at that point of time, I wasn't as ready as I am today. And the price I'm paying for it is that it became a bigger surgery to what it had to be. Because, and I prefer looking at things in general in life this way, because see, the only place of change is in the present. I cannot change decisions I have taken, or anybody for that matter. You can't change the past. Past is always going to look exactly the way it did. No matter how many times you look at it, no matter which way you look at it, no matter, it is always going to stay the way it was. Now, if I start blaming myself over something I can no longer change, I'm polluting my energy. But I can say, all right, lesson learned. I will not be going as per what suits me at the time next time around. But the positive of that decision and why I took that decision at that time is because I needed time to process. And thank God I had the luxury, because sometimes when you're dealing with urgent situations, with a certain cancers, you're not having time to process. With the traumas, you don't have a time to process things. You have to act there and then processing happens afterwards. So how do we process that? What is happening to us, I feel, is extremely important in general in life. And I had the luxury to sort of process. Now, when it came to the surgery itself, it was very stressful. I mean, not the surgery, but the build-up of the surgery. And again, what is the thing that is most important to me? It is, I mean, apart from my family, of course, but it is, I have so many responsibilities in my life. I have my work, which I love and adore. I have my business, which I'm running, and that business supports and takes care of many livelihoods. And my first, and that was the thing that has created the biggest stress in my life, is, oh my God, this is a major surgery and I'm out of action for God knows how long, and what is going to happen to my work? What is going to happen to my household? What is going to happen to my people? What is going to happen? So all of those things that are kind of really creating kind of palpitations and creating a nervous energy. And at one point of time, it was a moment of a deep breath, and I believe in divine guidance. I believe that we should not be asking why certain things are happening in our lives. Usually the purpose of them we find out later on in life. But no matter what is happening, what cards are dealt to us, that what the questions we should be asking, what is the best I can do within this situation? So that is one. I do believe in higher purpose in everything, and I do believe in divine interventions, and I do believe in divine guidance. So after I was done with all that stress, and then how is it going to affect my exercising? Will I be able to do same things? What happens with my personal practices? What happens with the pole practice? So all of that, at one point of time, I was like, okay, now Vesna, enough. And I kind of recall all the difficult times and challenges I had in my life, and none of them were within my power or of my choosing, right? And one manages, one gets through it, one one kind of goes through it, and eventually things level out. So, and I know this, I've been there in different spaces at different ages, at different me, right, with different responsibilities at that time. So at one point I just took a deep breath and I said, okay, I surrender. What is to be will be. I give myself into my doctor's hands. I give myself into God's hands. I give my doctor in God's hands. And I am not going to fight any of this. I'm going to float with it. So floating with it means that I surrender completely and I'm doing the best to follow that flow, not to fight and try to live the swim upstream, not to be angry or disappointed or sad, but just, all right, this is what it is right now, and I'm going to allow myself and surrender to this process and be fully present for this process. And then let's see what opens up. Let's see what comes out of this. Let's see how things will get organized. So that is at the state that I am right now. And so 1 week, tomorrow only, tomorrow 1 week, the surgery went off very well. I'm recovering quite well. I haven't been this much in the house, I think, in 15 years. So I'm kind of appreciating it a bit. It is giving me more time to do the uploads and to do the social media content, or just, and it's not even social media content in that sense, but I have noticed that so many things which I'm taking in stride and so many things which I'm kind of taking in without having a time to think, absorb, or can actually help somebody. This clarity of thought or intention or the gratitude that I'm feeling each and every step, because at the bottom line, in order to surrender, it takes lots of gratitude and forgiveness and love and faith, right? And to me, I take that as understood, but also I know it's not that easy for a lot of people, but yet I can guide you and tell you how to find that peace within and how to create a deeper connection, not only within, but with the divine, and how to find that grounding below. So I feel all of this now, this is giving me time to share more of this internal journey and also to record and journal the path to recovery as well. So yeah, and you see, this is something that I just managed to have this very nice, easy morning, which never, my mornings are never easy. And this feels also good. So I'm seeing and enjoying the different parts which I haven't had in a very, very long time. So see how we're seeing the silver lining of each situation. And I'm looking forward to see how my venturing out and going to my place of work is gonna be. So, but yeah, it's a very long post. But I just wanted to share a little bit deeper on the physical, but also the emotional level when you're going through injury, through recovery, through surgery, and the post-op, how I'm viewing it, how I'm dealing with it, and I hope I can help or inspire someone. And if you have any questions, if you have anything you would like to share, please let me know. So, love and light to all.